d'Amérique latine et d'Afrique dans un même combat contre les mêmes trafiquants politiques, les mêmes exploiteurs économiques. Le combat meurtrier qui nous attend. Consommatrice passive et lamentable, elle se regorge de vocables fétichisés par l'Occident, comme elle le fait de son whisky et de son champagne. Dans ces salons à l'harmonie douteuse, on recherchera en vain, depuis les concepts de négritude et d'African personality, marqués maintenant par les temps, des idées vraiment neuves, issues des cerveaux de nos grands, entre guillemets, intellectuels. Le vocabulaire des idées nous viennent d'ailleurs. Nos professeurs, nos ingénieurs et nos économistes se contentent d'y adjoindre des colorants parce que des universités européennes dont ils sont les produits, ils n'ont ramené souvent que leur diplôme et le velours des adjectifs ou des superlatifs. Il est nécessaire, il est urgent que nos cadres et nos travailleurs de la plume apprennent qu'il n'y a pas d'écriture innocente. En ces temps de tempête, nous ne pouvons laisser à nos seuls ennemis d'hier et d'aujourd'hui le monopole de la pensée et de l'imagination et de la créativité. Il faut, avant qu'il ne soit trop tard, car il est déjà tard, que ces élites, ces hommes de l'Afrique du tiers-monde reviennent à eux-mêmes. C'est-à-dire à leur société, à la misère dont nous avons hérité pour comprendre non seulement la bataille pour une pensée au service des masses déshéritées n'est pas vaine, mais qu'ils ne peuvent devenir crédibles sur le plan international qu'en inventant réellement, c'est-à-dire en donnant de leur peuple une image fidèle.
Quand vous faites le tour de l'espace,
when you take a tour of the court of the headquarters of FESPACO,
que vous rencontrez tous ces visiteurs, tous ces festivaliers qui sont en admiration,
and you meet all the festival participants admiring the sculptures of SAHAB, then you realize that it is no ordinary art.
Il faut avoir du génie pour faire le travail.
You have to be a genius to do the recuperation work that he does. He is able to valorize waste and turn it into works of art that is highly appreciated. We are members of the same family because FESPACO is cinema. Cinema is the seventh art, so it is the sum of all art that is found in cinema.
FESPACO
and SAHAB have been accompanying each other over several editions of the festival, and thanks to the work of SAHAB, the court of the headquarters becomes an open-air museum where we encounter the work of the artist. We are very pleased to welcome all who have initiatives and would like to associate with FESPACO to strengthen the dimension of the Pan-African cultural space, a space for the encounter of cultures for the promotion of African cultural identities, and finally, the space for intercultural dialogue.
I have been nicknamed the King of Salvaging because of my work searching in rubbish dumps. That's why the press call me the Emperor of Rubbish Dumps. I didn't have the chance to go to a French school. I went to a Quranic school. After that, I relocated to town, searching left and right for something to survive on. We felt the influence of Thomas Sankara that people consider dead. Meanwhile, he lives on, and who in 1984 made a call to liberate your creativity. At that time, we were making little cars with iron, used cans, and I was congratulated by the president during an exhibition at the 4th August Stadium. When he died, the project died, but it remained engraved in the memory of those who were born artists. In 1996, I said to myself, well, listen, Sahab, you depend others' initiatives. Your whole life is defined by others' initiatives. You count on the choices of others to be happy. You count on others for your salary. You have to be at work whether or not you are needed. No, Sahab, you must wake up early. You must not go to bed early, according to the instruction of others. Must a man be limited to that? Must we be limited to that in Africa? And I thought to myself, no, it is not possible. It is true that salary enables me to live, but it was not my source of pride because it was not my thing. My spirit was not disposed to just receiving a salary at the end of the month and spending it. My spirit sees further than that. Thomas Sankara used to say, no venture, no gain. You must dare, fight and convince. It is since then that I immersed myself into the world of art and effectively discovered that I was born an artist. So I started doing theater. It was not easy. After theater, I went into dance, and it still wasn't easy. At a given moment, I said to myself, I love art. I want to live from art. I want to valorize African art. But do the other partners think as I do? Find something personal for which you are passionate, which keeps you free, which allows you to be in harmony with nature and in communion with God, your creator, to end up with something which gives value to Africa. And that's when I started working. At that time, metal waste was not being sorted out to be sent to Europe. It was disposed of as it was. So I went to rubbish dumps with empty bags. I picked up exhaust ports, chains, doors, handles, carcasses of bikes, reservoirs, bikes lights, dishes, a little bit of everything.
I found myself in this street after meeting with the master of artwork, Koanda Sahab. One day I went to the French Institute of Ouagadougou in 2004 and I saw that Koanda Sahab was organizing an art exhibition. He amazed me so much that I started frequenting his workshop. I started collecting waste with him and learning the trade. It is truly madness. Looking and collecting dumps of all stuff, whatever, it is truly madness.
I know him since 1998. He was a family friend. particularly of my mother. He called my mother his mother. My mother was a woman whom everybody loved, even mad people. She was everybody's mother. Even though many people pointed fingers at him like he is mad, he doesn't know what he is doing, he won't do anything. When he came to my mother, she gave him advice. You must persevere. You get to the highest level of what you have chosen to do. You must work hard. Don't worry about others. Whenever he had a particular problem, he came to my mother. For example, when he needed money, he went to her. That's how we knew each other. At first, I considered him mad. He often came and explained what he was doing to my mother. When he was leaving, he teased her. That your fellow, he is mad. I have the impression that he has lost his head. But at the same time, when there is a problem between us and the family, he was the only one who could solve it. It was enough for him to come and sit with my mother or the person concerned and talk to them. He succeeded in reconciling the family. In any case, he was like a peacemaker.
My very first artwork is in the garden where that flag is. It is a bird. Why a bird? It was the path of liberty for me. A bird is free. A bird is independent. A bird does not need a visa to travel. A bird does not say this is Africa, that is the West. It flies to where he wants. And a bird has a very interesting philosophy. That one does not need to be employed by the states to live. One does not need to be in public service to live. Talk less of the number of certificates, baccalaureate, doctorate, etc. to live. One does not need to become a director in an air-conditioned office to live. One does not need to be a politician to live. One does not need to be a big trader to live. One does not need to be a big businessman to live. One does not need to be a big farmer or a peasant to live. One does not need to be an animal breeder. No. A bird has a pleasant universe. One needs liberty and independence to cross frontiers without a visa and without being disturbed by anybody. As far as I'm concerned, I would have wanted that my art, my inspiration, and my person should be inspired by a bird. Fly to wherever I want. Sit on the branch of a tree of my choice because nobody holds me. It is nature that holds me. That's how a bird is. It eats wherever it goes. It drinks wherever it wants. In the world of birds, they know each other. Who is king of chief, who isn't, and there is no favoritism. There are no elections in their world. They do not do politics in their world. There is no democracy imposed on whoever. I would like to have that spirit.
Around 2003, we started working together. He searched in dustbins. I went with him. We salvaged objects together. I took care of the administration when he had a problem with papers. I helped him as much as I could. That's how we started. He created his artworks in front of me. That's when people started talking. I answered them thus: mad or not, we've started something, and I don't know where it will lead us, but I believe that everything God does is good. I participated in one of his exhibitions at the Cameroon Cultural Center. There is a security agent there that said to me, "Madam, what are you doing with this madman? Can't you go and look for a job? You are behind him. What can he well do? He can't give you anything. He can't do anything. He can't make money. You are there wasting your time with him." I laughed and answered him, "Whether or not he has something, what I know is that he has something in him that I find pleasing. His humor, his love, he is sentimental. He is somebody who feels for the human being. He cannot do anything harm to his like."
Mr. Koanda Sahab, personally, I think he is a genius. Because every time I try to understand where his inspiration comes from without becoming. Up to now, I recognize that he is a genius because when we are in the workshop, he will say, "Bring me this, bring me that," and suddenly a scripture arises from this. But at the start, he doesn't tell you what he is about to create. No, they just bring him pieces, and it is only after wielding that you will finally discover the object that he has created.
C'est après la soudure seulement qu'on voit que c'est un objet qu'il veut sculpter. Lui, personnellement, il sait ce qu'il veut sculpter, mais nous ne savons pas.
We are not exactly in the same domain because he does sculptures from salvaged objects. He's active in all that concerns recycling. I am a bit more classical, but it's like an alliance of visions. I am attentive to what he does as much as he dips into salvaged materials waste. So I am into metal, wood, but I also collect a certain amount also to make classic stuff. It is true that each artist has a certain amount of madness in him. Each exudes that little something which makes his personality. Sahab has come a long way. He has always had a message that he reminds us of often. At the beginning, I was mad. At the beginning, my family rejected me because I searched in rubbish dumps. It was really complicated. For him, it was like something that came from above. Sahab did not learn it. It is a gift, and one should know how to make use of such a gift. He has been able to make good use of the gift of his sons.
Art is universal, so is inspiration. If you have the intention of making an elephant in your inspiration, you need a big bike, an exhaust pipe, little engines, transmission, and then you go to the rubbish dump to look for these spare parts. When I started, I wanted to start with a bird. What can a bird be made from? The reservoir of a big bike, an exhaust pot, a bicycle fork, and mud guards. That's how the inspiration came, with little to make the eyes. If the rubbish dump is very rich, it will give you everything your inspiration desires, because you will find in it objects which describe a bird, cameramen, musicians, and you can even find the air filter of a car which reminds you of a guitar. All of these are useful. You will not limit your creation only to the object you are looking for. So, you are obliged to salvage everything. If you cannot have all what you want, what do? All the materials, all the spare parts which inspire you, get them weighed. Let them tell you the cost. You pay for half of them and take what you will need first, according to the inspiration which took you to the rubbish dump. You leave the others. When you have money, you come and pay for the rest and collect it. If on the contrary, you have all the money they are asking for, it is better to take everything, even if you are not going to use it immediately. You can see a stock of salvage materials in my home. Rubbish dumps don't resemble each other. You will always notice the difference of each dump.
It was complicated when I was pregnant with my first son. He told me not to visit rubbish dumps anymore. Don't come to the rubbish dump. I am at the rubbish dump. You come to the rubbish dump. What will we tell our children? What will we show them? Stay at home. I will make sure you lack nothing. I tried several times to go with him, but he refused. I was there, not knowing what God had reserved for us. We tried to cope. We supported each other as much as possible. When we had nothing, I supported him with my petty trade. We complicated each other. We stuck together. I can't today say that everything is fine. They would think we are all well to do. In reality, we are just holding out, but we think things will be okay.
He is someone who tries to change every space, every place, tries to contribute as much as possible in giving life to what everyone does. When we look at his artwork, there is more innovation, more character. It is a fact there's been an evolution in terms of salvaging. He regularly calls me as... We often agree, but there are times when we do not. I give him my point of view, but he's free to do what he wants to do with. I like collaborating with him. I love listening to him speak. I like his company. He is someone who executes good humor, someone who dreams. There is his good human contact, his advice, his madness. I am a bit inspired by his works because I love sculpture, I love painting. Even if I am a designer, when I watch him work, I know the reality of Burkina or of Africa in general in this domain. It is not at all easy, but despite the difficulties, he continues to hope. He still has the courage, the mental strength, which enables him to stay firm and continue. When I look at him, it inspires me. It gives me more strength because I'm a trainer in charge of space. I train young people. So the strength that I receive from this elder, I pass on to those youths.
In his workshop, there are a number of young people who come and work with him. His home is like a beehive. They don't only come to learn carving, but also to understand the unique process. This is already a transfer of skill.
When he's around, he works. When he chats with the youths, it's lively because he gives out the hope in him.
If I speak more about animals than humans, in Africa, houses have always been decorated with animals' drawings. So I ask the question, what is the difference between an animal and a human being? The human being is essentially an animal. Is an animal. Is a well-developed animal. Those animals which have remained in the forest are wild. Man is domestic or animal. In the beginning, man lived with animal. Man having evolved, found riches, and created a means of eliminating animals from the smallest to the biggest. And man's cupidity pushes him to turn against his own because he has nothing else to kill. When animals go to drink, the elephant, even though he's the biggest, allows the others and brings peace. When there are two people who lie to each other, argue, they say, no, forget it, it is Satan. Meanwhile, Satan has never been seen. We ourselves are the source of our battle. My personal philosophy is that if human beings are not careful, animals will be 1,000 times better than us. It has even already started.
As the main artist of the recreational, at every edition provides space where he exhibits a sculpture which stays there for a whole year, and in the next edition he does the same. During the last edition of Recreatrals, he worked on this piece, and when the president of FASO came visiting, he offered it as a gift. I hear echoes from the presidency. The theme of the last edition was splitting courage, and for him, splitting courage has something to do with the country which is going through a difficult security situation. That was his own speech to the nation.
SAHAB Koanda, j'ai vu en lui un artiste plein.
I see in Kaonda Sabab an artist, an accomplished true poet. He also shows some spirituality which transpires through all his artwork. So I had no problem involving him in the scenography team of Recreatrals because he gives life and breath to dead objects. He gives life to dead bodies. And for me, it is a complete art. The second thing is that there is a political thought. Even if he doesn't speak French very well, his discourse, his articulation of his thinking about the world, which gives his work the force that be, is known for today. It is because he is a political thinker of our time. So we are totally on the same wavelength, and his presence at Recreatrals for me is quite natural.
I am not 100% a politician, but politics is indispensable for all human beings because if you refuse to do politics, politics will do you. At the beginning of the world, if there was no politics, there would have been no Satan to mislead Eve so that Adam will eat the forbidden fruit. It would not have become our problem today. So politics did not start with us today. Politics started with the creation of the world. I am not a politician who can organize an election to regroup people, telling them, I promise you this and that. Neither am a revolutionary who can rise up and say he is against a human being. I fight against any system which goes contrary to the progress of this world, and particularly Africa, as well as my country. I respect all African leaders, all presidents, who in the past and even in the future, and even those who are there now, each has his mission, and it all depends on the mission which concerns me the most. Sankara, his mission towards young Africans, particularly Burkinabe, touched me a lot. It captivated me too much. Speaking of revolution, Sankara is someone who came from our generation to show us what a revolution was, but revolutions already existed in Africa. I am not Sankara, I cannot be. Each person is different, starting from the way they come into the world. To leave a message, to bring their own touch. Many people have brought a positive touch, but even those who have done negative things are equally part of this world.
It was somebody. I don't know how to explain this, but when you chatted with him, you saw a positive person, somebody who had sentiments. He could encourage somebody to the point of making them leave the world of hopelessness. He could make you see reason when you were hopeless. Besides, he had self-confidence. Even if people were skeptical about his life, he himself was convinced that he would attain his objectives, even though we knew it would not be easy.
When I wear military outfits like this, with a great insignia, I do not compare myself to military men. I do not compare myself to them, but I pay homage to them because I am somebody who has loved to be uniformed or since childhood. I simply did not have the chance to be one. I have had a moment when I created my own power. In any case, even if everybody in Africa and in the whole world could create their own power without being jealous of the power of another, without wanting the position of the other, there would be no war in Africa. So I am someone who does not like seizing the gift of someone else. I have tried to valorize the gift which God gave me to be at equal footing today with the best. As it is, they call me Emperor of Rubbish Dumps. Today, with this insignia, I can name myself the General of Rubbish Dumps, the General of Dustbin, the Captain of Dustbins. Just like they say Captain Thomas Sankara, I can say Captain of Creativity. I have done everything to affirm my power without being jealous of the power of the others. Today, I am satisfied with who I am. I have created my own power. I have created my own universe. I owe nobody and nobody owes me. It is God who gave me and nobody can take it away from me. I recall that in 2005, we were arguing about the star Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Youssou N'Dour, Alpha Blondy, and we were arguing about Samuel Eto'o, DJ Drogba, in short, all stars. And I wasn't saying anything. My friends asked me, "What is it? What is wrong? Are you with us or not?" I said, "I am with you. I am simply thinking of what I could do well so that they should talk about me also, and so that Burkina Faso should be spoken of positively. That's why I'm not getting involved in your discussion, because I will not always be there to talk about others instead of working so that others should talk about me also." I mustered all the strength of my inspiration to create this piece of art, to pay homage to Samuel Eto'o. I give the mandate to the Director General of Cameroon Television to hand it to Samuel Eto'o as a souvenir of all what he has done for Africa and what he will continue to do. May Africa be at the front for long live Africa. I'm giving Samuel Eto'o this gift because he has given a different image to Africa. As a football star and as an African, he has worked hard to give Africa a different image. I am also doing it with my artwork so that together we can give Africa a visibility. Africa should not be limited to war, hate, orphans, street children, widows, and so on. No, Africa has another fortune. Our fortune is not limited to that. I am offering it to him because he has given a different vision to African youth, that they can use football, because everybody recognizes that at the moment, football alone can valorize a nation. And the false demands of the African youth. The state is not doing this, the government is not doing that. What have you done for the government? The youth should know that the government is not somebody else. The youth should know that the state is not somebody else. The African state is the youth. The African government is the African youth. Now, they must do something. If they fold their arms to wait for the state to come and make things move while the state is nobody, we will all get drowned. We must not remain on the spot, condemned by two different schools of thought, by confusing intellectuality with intelligence. That has nothing to do with it. You know that intellectuality is a Western concept. It is paid for with money. Intelligence is in Africa. One is born with it. If one doesn't use it, we do harm to ourselves. To be concrete, I still have the same fight concerning my human state. It is not because you have had the chance to exhibit your work at FESPACO in 2016 or 17 that you should stop working. It is not because at a given moment those around you or those you know appreciate your work that you should stop. So I have continued to fight. Many people who escape, who say to themselves, this country is not easy, Africa is not easy. Those are mad ideas, because nobody else will work, sweat for the development of his continent for you to come and benefit from. We must together fight for Africa. There are people who fought during colonial times for us to have liberty and independence. We must fight for the future. We are not going to fold our arms and say all the times, government is not helping us, the state does not give job. If you see yourself unemployed, you become unemployed. And if you project yourself in the future, you become what you have created. As for me, it is over time that to show to those in Burkina Faso as well as in Africa that if Africans apply themselves seriously, we could develop Africa without counting on whoever, without selling out, without denigration, without transforming ourselves to beggars, running after people, talking misery, talking poverty. No. That should stop now. Africa has reached a level that even the West acknowledges. It is Africa that makes Europe, and without Africa, Europe is nihil and of no consequences. And they know it. The West is not a paradise for Africa, not even for the Europeans. It is not a paradise. It is just a living space. It is just a space for traveling, a space for tourism. It is not a paradise. Paradise is elsewhere. It is everywhere. If you create it, you will have it.
Madame Salambere, allez-y.
The preoccupation of a wise man is not the past, neither is it the present nor the future. Each of us must respect the activity of the other. We do not have a salary. Our salary is like of humans. It is the enthusiasm of those who adore art. And if you do not have the means to push us far, at least caress us and support us morally. Do not shock us. Do not denigrate us. Do not destroy our dreams of promoting Burkinabe and African art. My last war cry, I ask all African youth, all Burkinabe youth. My last war cry, I ask all African youth, all Burkinabe youth, all those who fight night and day for Africa to advance, so that the African continent can be happy, to fight and not sleep, to wake up early. And people think instead that they should go to university, study, that they need a pile of certificates. People should cease to be slaves to certificates. They should be slaves to creation and progress. I, Sahab, this is how I see it. Creativity must be adopted to distance Africa from misery, distance it from injustice, from corruption, and all the rest. We should be united, stay human, because unity is a strength.
Nos pionniers, pour parler de
Our pioneers, talking of Semben Ousmane, Timit Basuri, of Pauline Ousmane Vieira, Umaru Ganda, when they created FESPACO in 1969, it was to reveal and divulge cinematic works of Africa. Later, when FESPACO was institutionalized in 1972, it was said cinema by FESPACO in order to educate, inform, form, and conscientize our populations. As FESPACO has grown bigger, it has integrated other arts and continued to play the role of a receptacle for African cultural identities, not only for the edification of Africans, but to enable the sharing of knowledge about these identities in a world cultural dialect. And effectively today, FESPACO is a cradle which offers to artists of various art forms the possibility of not only benefiting from this pedestal by being shown to African populations, but also to be accessible to the rest of the world. I think Sahab has very well understood that. He has approached FESPACO, he has collaborated with FESPACO to be carried by FESPACO, and Semben has well predicted it, that they created FESPACO, but today it is FESPACO which carries them.
Each artist has his own career, you know. He is conscious. He's still got much to achieve to reach the top. He is on the right path. He keeps researching and researching. And Sahab Koanda is not an artist who feels he has arrived or has found what he wants. It is quite unusual to have an artist like that who works with useless stuff in rubbish dumps in dustbins. He was a curious artist and a typical one, but now he occupies center stage amongst contemporary plastic art celebrities, but he still walks his path.
At first, I was working for Sahab and his family, but now I work for a whole nation, Burkina Faso and Africa. When people go to Europe, it is just to go and take 2 little euros, 5 euros. We are not homeless people who sleep in the mud. Africa has another capacity if she wants. We could be heroes in Europe just like whites are heroes here. Today, I am a good example to the African youth of someone who fights for himself and for the others.
There are collectors who come from Western countries to buy or other, but not all the time. Sometimes Koanda Sahab travels to Europe to construct and sculpture monuments or beautifying certain spaces. It gives him a little income, but apart from that, we can only hope that a few rich people can come and order objects.
In life, when you learn that someone has gone mad, even if it's not your sibling, you cannot be happy. Sahab is her elder brother. She was always traveling and learned through rumor that he has gone mad and was walking about aimlessly collecting garbage. Since then, she has never been happy. Whenever she returned from her journeys and went to see Sahab, she found out that he effectively does not look like a normal person. But she had never rejected him because he is her brother. With time, she discovered that it was not madness, but a gift from God, an activity inspired in him by God. And the activity was blessed because Sahab was able to leave the family home, have a wife, and create his own family. She prayed that God should bless his work and make him excel so that Sahab and all of his should benefit from what he is doing.
Toute la suite de Sahab puisse bénéficier des avantages de son travail.
For somebody who has suffered for 100 years, even if he earns 100 million francs in the twinkle of an eye, it will get finished. He wants to hurry up and do what he has not been able to do in the past. He has never betrayed his family. Sahab's life is his family. All the money he makes is for his family. He doesn't hesitate to deprive himself for the sake of his family. I often say to him, you see only us and you don't see yourself. It is not good. For him, it is very normal to live for us, so he doesn't see why he shouldn't die for us. He does absolutely everything, and when he cannot, we help each other.
When you go to France, you must go and see the Eiffel Tower to prove to people that you were actually in France. It was done by an artist who died, and is today the pride of France. It truly represents France. If you show a picture of you in France, even if you are in the snow, if people don't see you in front of the Eiffel Tower, it will be as if you had not been to France. So I think there are people who can dare like that. For example, the Liberty Statue in America. It was done by somebody who dared. So why can't we in Africa not also dare? I often feel bad that our roundabouts or monuments in Africa should be ordered from China or Japan, despite the fact that there are people here who can do them. It is the love for my vision that spurs me to work on monuments. Thanks to those who find what I do valuable and who give me some help. Since 1986, when I knew the World Cup, I cannot imagine the millions of people in different countries who have benefited from the work of FIFA. And FIFA is only thinking of giving and giving, but nobody is thinking of giving back something in return. I, from Burkina Faso, in the name of the youth and in the name of Africa, in the name of sport and the love that we have for football, I thought of making a trophy for FIFA. I used to ask myself a lot of questions. If it was going to be easy, I heard one day that the president of FIFA would visit Burkina Faso for the first time, and I had a monument that I wanted to offer to FIFA. Is it true? Is that possible? And then I said to my manager, what do we do about transportation? He told me he would take care of that. He provided the resources for transportation, and between 4 and 5 p.m. the monument had already been placed at the Burkinabe Federation headquarters. By 6 p.m. they arrived after meeting the President of the Republic and some other personalities. They were coming to visit the headquarters of the Federation, and it is the monument that welcomed them together with the Minister of Sports. He actually congratulated me, and I was very happy. I was very touched, very emotional. He spent 8 hours in Burkina Faso, and in those 8 hours, and out of millions of people, and I had the opportunity to talk to the man, to present my cry from the heart concerning the Burkinabe and African youth, and I was overwhelmed. African youth should be conscientious, should be alert. We should fight for Africa, only Africa, Africa or nothing. Despite the anguish, Africa remains the best.
For the Golden Jubilee of FESPACO, SAHAB wanted to go further by conceiving and making a giant sculpture of a cameraman at work. We welcomed this initiative with great pleasure and supported him as much as we could so that he too could participate, bring his touch, contribute to the celebration of the Jubilee of FESPACO.
I'm proud of him. I knew that sooner or later his glaring talent would give him worldwide exposure. He will succeed. I also think that he is fine-tuning his carving technique. He is giving sense to his art. It looks a bit more aesthetic, well thought out indeed, and above all, poetic. He is really sharpening his art. And in my opinion, SAHAB KOANDA is a contemporary African artist of international acclaim.
SAHAB's call to sculpture in FESPACO is a merit. SAHAB has been supporting or accompanying FESPACO for several years. It is merit. He merits more than this. Merits sculpting, merits being known, merits a decent life, and a decent life for his family. Those people who believe in us at the beginning, when we were rejected by everyone else, when they said we were mad, the family which withstood all.
At first, he was not as important as today. Those who considered him mad have stopped talking about the madman. When there is a problem, some ask me, tell your husband this or that. I answer them, go tell him yourself, especially within the family. When there is an event, they inform him. He also participates and it's okay. But at first, it was not like that. We were the last, and even when we went, we had no place. We were just there. But today, each recognizes the importance of the other.
What is success? If a man says, I have succeeded, I have reached the summit, he will no longer go very far. So I have not arrived. I am still learning. I am continuing the struggle. This is 2019. It is now that I'm feeling born. I'm being born because God willing. If I have a long life and I find people to continue to encourage me and to support me, we will go much further than this.
But the most important thing is daily. And what is that? To have the basic minimum. You will be happy, at peace when you get up in the morning to see the people who trusted you from the very beginning perfectly at ease. Those who say to you, yes, Papa, we have what we need. And your wife saying to you, yes, sir, we have what we need. That's what the effects of marriage should be.
In life, there are two things. What are they? They are well-being and ill luck. They are it's okay and it is not okay. When there is good, no evil, then good cannot be valued. And when there is evil, Without good, the value of evil cannot be estimated, so the two go together. Those who complain about the government, about their salaries, or about their payslip are recruited by the government to serve the government. Nobody employed me. God recruited me and employed me to work and serve Africa and my country, Burkina Faso. It implies that the struggle I am in is for myself, for my family, for those around me. I do not blame anybody. Nobody owes me, and I owe nobody. Up till today, I do not have a stable bank account because all that goes into it is for me, my family, and for my personal needs. Everything that I earn in Africa, I spend. So at the moment, I have not had the possibility to save money. It is not easy to sell artworks in Burkina Faso or Africa. Foreigners buy them. Unfortunately, in recent times, all of Africa has been in turmoil, so nobody wants to come here. Tourism is nil. But despite that, we are holding out. We are not going to say it is not okay, let's go somewhere else. Because when you sleep on your friend's mats, the day he takes back his mats, I dread sleeping on the ground, so I will lie on my best mats. In Africa, in Burkina Faso, happy with what I have, in order to spread the message that God has given me to share with my fellow human beings.
I wish you happiness. And what is that happiness? I wish that you should impact the artistic world, that you should be known beyond our frontiers and beyond Africa, everywhere, and that you should be able to live off what you do.
I speak to them a lot about their father. I tell them, you see how much your father suffers. I want you to work hard to relieve him of that suffering because it is not easy. Today, what he does is not well recognized by the people here, apart from Europeans. But considering how much he fights for you, you must also struggle to become successful tomorrow so as to look after your father. Today, he does everything for you. He suffers. He deprives himself for you. He can do everything for you, but fight hard to succeed him tomorrow. Sooner or later, his physical strength will take a blow. His work requires physical strength. He must be well and have the strength to work. So when he will no longer have the strength to work, you will need to support him. Don't let him regret, because if you bring forth a child and the child does not succeed, it becomes a regret. Don't let your father regret for having brought you into this world.
I cannot say that it is not working. I cannot also say that it's okay, but it is beginning to work because my first gain, the first pay slip for me, Sahab, is when people say, wow, he made a monument for FESPACO. He sent a monument to FIFA. Wow, he made a monument for Recreate Trails. That's my first pay slip. All that is luxurious, all that is modern, all that is beautiful, all that is love, all that is pleasure, I abandoned 7 years ago. With all the risk involved in searching in rubbish heaps, I think God created me with an antivirus, because despite all that, I have never fallen ill. We are dust, and unto dust we shall return. There is no reason for dust to kill us, and always being on rubbish heaps is being revolutionary.
Shine, 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 shine la la, shine la la, shine la la, shine la la. Shine, 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 shine la la, shine la la.